and welcome to Two Tired Teachers. Today I'm going to be talking about freeze-drying okra. And I had done a sample batch. I had eaten some freeze-dried okra before, really loved it, wanted to try my hand at it. Had gone to a produce store here in town specifically to buy okra. And when I got there, they were taking the okra that was on display and bagging it up for quick sell. So what was $1.39 a pound for okra, I got over bags that had just over 2 pounds for $1. So I bought 5 bags. Yes, that's 10 pounds of okra. I have finished freeze drying 7 bags, and I have 4 trays, which means 4 more bags in the freezer. So let me walk you through what I did. The first thing I did was wash the okra really well and then let it dry. I then would take the okra and I put it on a tray to measure how much was going to go on a tray. The larger pods, not necessarily lengthwise, but diameter, I cut in half. And then I put those in a bowl, coated them very well with cooking spray. Now you want to be careful and not use a ton if you're planning on long-term storage, but I know that I love these. I'm going to be eating these for lunch as we travel. This is going to be my vegetable for lunch. And so I'm not planning on rehydrating. I'm not planning on keeping a long time. And so coat them with cooking spray, and then I use seasoned salt, jalapeno salt, trying a batch in the freezer right now that has some ranch seasoning on it. We're gonna see how that one goes. But then I would put them back on the tray, and I did freeze them. And did that for all of the shelves. Once the freeze dryer ends and go on and let it have a little extra dry time, the way I stored these, and let me tell you the proper way to store these. If you want to keep this for long-term storage, meaning 25 years, then you use a Mylar bag, an oxygen absorber, and seal the bag. That's long-term storage. We did not buy our freeze dryer for long-term storage. We don't have a huge garden. We're not, homesteading. We're not preppers. Hats off to those folks. That's just not how we are using ours. We're using this for trips that we're going to be taking in the next 6 months. So what I have done is I have a vacuum seal that has a pulse function on it. So while the product is in the freeze dryer, I got the bags to what I assumed was going to be the approximate size. And by the way, the okra does shrink up. It's amazing how much moisture comes out of this, folks. Let me show you my bucket. Yes, this is a mop bucket, but on 4 trays of okra, the amount of moisture that came out was up to here. Yes, that's a mop bucket, and I could not believe how much moisture came out of 4 small trays of okra. But anyway, it does shrink down a lot. And when it came out, I took a tray, put the okra in one of my vacuum seal bags that was prepared with an oxygen absorber. Then I used the pulse function on the vacuum seal, because you don't want to just vacuum seal because it'll crush it all down. That pressure will crush it down. This is just very brittle. And then I used the pulse sealer that came from Harvest Right just to give it a double seal. And I'm going to show you when I was sampling this, because the crunch of this okra is crazy. That is really good. Okay, let me just go on and put a disclaimer here. how I have packaged these things of okra, I'm not saying that this is going to be right for anyone else, and if you're doing long-term storage, that's not right. This okra is being stored in a cardboard box with a lid on it, so it is dark. I removed as much oxygen as I could and have an oxygen absorber in there. For our purposes, that's going to be just fine. But you do it the way that it's supposed to be done for best results. The baggie that I have left after these 10 pounds, which is 11 trays, I did go on and cut into rings. I'm going to try that with the seasoning just like I have done these. My guess is it's going to go a lot faster. The batch that I had 4 trays of okra, and the batch that had 3 trays of okra and 1 of snap peas, they each took around 27 hours to give or take. I don't know exactly when it went off. I had extra time on here. But I am very pleased. Now, let me just tell you that the place that I got this okra on sale, they're the ones that sell the freeze-dried okra. When I have bought it before, best I remember, it's about 1/3 as much as I have in this bag, and the price was around $5. There's no way I would have bought 3 times 33 bags of that. But if that were the case, and my bags came out to, let's just say, $1 a bag, folks, I saved at least $90 on what it would cost to have bought that. So what that tells me is, no, I'm not doing it just for that, but we're going to have food that we really enjoy available to us as we travel. So if you're not in the South, the fresh may be hard to find. You can find it in the frozen food section where it's already cut into rings, and my guess is that would work just fine. Lay that out on a tray, spray it down with some cooking spray, and put seasoning on there. I don't know. If you try it, leave a comment and let us know. Because we are actually an RV channel and doing this to supplement our travels, many of our viewers are unfamiliar with the freeze dryer, so I'm going to go through this very superficially because that's how much I understand. But essentially, you're removing moisture from the product. This chamber inside of here, and by the way, this is running. If you're hearing any noise behind me, that's how quiet this thing is. But it cools this down to -10 degrees. Once it finishes freezing, it then vacuum freezes, and then it starts drying. And essentially, there's a vacuum, a void inside of the chamber. Then it starts drying. On the top, you put the tray in on bottom, and just above the tray is actually a little heat mat. And as it gradually heats that food, the moisture that's inside of the food releases. It releases as a gas, but it actually forms ice around the inside of the chamber. And when the process is through, there's extra dry time. You can take it out, weigh it, see if the weight, put it back in for another hour, see if the weight changes. If it does, more moisture's coming out. If it doesn't, it's done. For long-term storage, you put it in a Mylar bag or a ball jar. You put an oxygen absorber in there, seal it, and then it's good for up to 25 years. It should rehydrate with the various textures and flavors, and like over 90% of the nutrients are maintained. Things that will not freeze dry real well, you want very lean cuts of meat. Any kind of fat does not freeze dry well for long-term storage. You can get by with some for short term, but you want as lean a cut of meat as you can. And then sugars, you can do candy. There's actually a candy mode on here, but it's going to expand and pop, and that's actually a whole market of food. That's how much I understand about it. I'm learning a lot. This is the Harvest Right small freeze dryer, has 4 trays, and I think it's a perfect size for the two of us. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.